Fuck, it don't get no better than that. For those of you who know me very fucking well, I always extremely boast and boost about the CIA and the NSA being the best men and women on the planet Earth. But I guarantee you, they can't even find not one person on planet Earth to make better beats, find a better engineer than me. If this was the movie Armageddon, and NASA was trying to find some powerful engineers with beat makers to save planet Earth, guess who they would call, motherfucker? I rest my case. Alright, so I am going to make a promise to myself and everyone else, and I do tend to keep my promises for the most of the part. This is going to be the absolute last time that I talk about this disgusting, gross, demon, horrible, evil, just pure evil topic, because I'm moving on with the next chapter in my life. So before I open up this topic for one last time, I do need to provide a couple introductions. 1. Ignorance is no excuse to break the law. If you ask any prosecutor, lawyer, or anyone who has just a little somewhat knowledge on the laws of the United States of America, ignorance is no excuse to break the law. That's a fact. That being said, I fully agree with that law, with that saying, with that reasoning. Because if we don't have that reason, the majority of the people, including the old me, I would have just broke many laws and said, oh, I didn't know. We have all kinds of people using that as an excuse. I didn't know it was a crime to steal. I didn't know it was a crime to beat someone's ass. You just can't have that. That being said now, I'm not a prosecutor and I'm not a lawyer. I am me with a big mouth. There are a lot of stupid, dumb people. And I can't ignore that fact. There are a lot of people who just simply don't get it. Let me remind you, I agree 100% with ignorance is no reason or an excuse to break the law. I'm with that. But I still can't take out of the back of my head that this motherfucker just doesn't get it. This motherfucker, his IQ is very low. This motherfucker, his mom and dad fucked their own cousins. There's something about this person is just not that smart. And just because I'm a human, I can't ignore that fact. I'm sorry, and I can't speak for prosecutors and lawyers, even though I had my fair share of meeting a handful of them. They tell me the same thing, but they can't admit it. They feel sorry for a lot of the people who come on through. Actually, there was this one lawyer who admitted it. These people just don't get it. He did a YouTube video about it. You could say they're dumb. You could say they're naive. You could say their dad fucked their own sister. You could say the mom was on serious drugs when she was pregnant. You could say the word stupid. Pick one. They just don't get it. So I'm going to explain this to the people who just don't get it. Because I feel sorry for you. And I'm not fucking around. So I'm going to do my best to go all out and explain this detail by detail by detail to help you. To educate you. So you can get it. Second thing, I live by this saying. We don't meet people by accident. You were supposed to meet me. I was supposed to meet you. Typically, I'm supposed to learn something from you. I'm supposed to get something from you. Or you're supposed to learn something from me. You're supposed to get something from me. I'm not hard to work with. I have a very good fucking ear. So far, I haven't learned jack shit from you motherfuckers. And the only thing I got from you is a headache and annoying, and I'll admit this, and even though I shouldn't, you left me with bad memories in my head of just more stupid, dumb, fucked up people. So that means you're supposed to learn something from me. Because your daddy wasn't around, the government brainwashed you, high school brainwashed you when you were a kid, whatever it is, you're supposed to learn something from me. It's up to you. I will do this video and speak on this topic one more time because I'm a huge fan of We Were Supposed to Meet. So I'm going to do my part and educate you because your teachers never did because the government wouldn't let them. Third thing, which is the last, and then we'll get into this disgusting, gross, demon, evil fucking topic. Almost every problem we have comes from government and the masterminds who control and really run the government, who control and really run puppet politicians. Almost every problem we have in America, probably the world, comes from the government and masterminds who run the politicians. And almost every problem we have in this country and probably the world are from stupid people. You people allowed them to do this. You people voted for them to do this. You people are so far behind in the race, you actually think you're winning. You know, two people racing, running around in the circle. There's one person who's just slow and that person, and you think you're winning. You're not. I repeat, I emphasize, almost every problem we have in America, and probably the world, comes from the government and or people who are stupid. And unfortunately, a lot of smart people have to pay for your stupid shit. Let me educate you. Republicans and Democrats work together. And this isn't an opinion. I will prove this fact with 100% guaranteed. I'm not just going to talk the talk. I'm not going to walk into a courtroom with no exhibits and no evidence and no video and no transcripts and no of you fully admitting this shit. I'm walking in the courtroom with everything ready to go. I will prove this. I will prove this with 100%. Psychologically, from a very serious psychology point of view, you people who believe in Democrats and Republicans, there is nothing wrong with your motives. You are not bad people. You are good people. You are law-abiding citizens people. You're just stupid people. You're just naive people. You just don't get it. Your IQ, you're just not quick to know a scam when you see one. It's actually not your fault, to be very honest with you, because when you were a kid in high school, they provided you this bullshit. And you ran with it. You don't question things. You just went to high school and that's what the teachers taught you, so you said, yeah, this is the way to go. It's not your fault. I don't fault you. They got you at an early age with the American education. They didn't teach you nothing in high school. They didn't teach you about this stuff. Almost everything you learned in high school you don't even use right now unless you're an architect or something of that nature. It was almost practically a waste of fucking time. This is hard for you to understand. This is hard for you to accept. I get your psychological point of view. I get the insides. I did good my whole life. I was honest my whole life. And you mean to tell me this fuck Chicago Blaxican is saying that I was brainwashed and it's all a lie? Yeah, compliments of your government and your American education. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not proud. I'm sorry. But you don't believe me? All right, let's go ahead. I'll prove it. I'll prove it. I'll fucking prove it right now with a lot of things. The intelligence shows Democrats and Republicans were created to divide the country. You go this way, you go that way, and while both of you people and both of you knuckleheads are crashing and fighting and arguing, you're using all your energy so you are distracted from the politicians. They keep you distracted. And it goes back to my saying, is it the politicians' fault? No, they're just puppets. They don't run the country. Other people tell them what to do, and they just get the blame for shit. It's you, because you fell for it. You allowed this to happen. You were arguing with your neighbor about Democrats and Republicans. You are to blame more than any of them. They're fucked up for doing it, but you are more fucked up for falling for it. You're over here arguing about Donald Trump and Joe Biden when both of those motherfuckers are so full of shit. It doesn't matter who's president. They're not in charge. I'm sorry to break that bad news to you, but let me give you the evidence. Exhibit A. Actually, Exhibit B, because I got a bigger one than this. Exhibit A. Rahm Emanuel. So many years Republicans couldn't stand Rahm Emanuel. So many years they would talk shit about Rahm Emanuel. They would talk shit about Obama every week in the newspaper for multiple years. That's all you heard is Republicans hate Obama. Republicans hate Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel is Obama's chief of staff. They can't stand him. Let that settle in. You like my bald head? Going for that new look. I know I look fucking good. I heard you guys. He shaved his head. Yeah, it looks good. Let that settle in. Since the year 2010, before that, 2010, 2011, 2012, Republicans talked shit about Rahm. They hated Rahm. They said his policies were bad. Horrible. 2014, 2015, Rahm Emanuel, he's a killer, which he is, by the way. Rahm Emanuel, he covered up a murder, which he did, by the way. They hate Rahm. They hate that demon. Rahm Emanuel makes Michael Mannigan look like an angel. Michael Mannigan just stole money. Rahm Emanuel allowed over 4,000 and counting poor people to die because he didn't give a shit about the communities. Finally, years later, Rahm can't get a job in the White House. It's too bad for the press. It's too bad. Make the White House look bad. Now he wants a job as an ambassador because his psychological profile is just beyond easy. He's short, he's insecure, and he wants to play Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and pretend to own a company with our fucking money. That's his dream, that's his goal, is to be a wannabe Trump who owns a business. Only problem is, he's not smart enough to open up his own business. He does it with our fucking money. But nevertheless, what does Rahm do? Well, no one's going to vote for Rahm to be an ambassador. He just covered up a murder for McDonald's. He tried to hold on to that tape for a long fucking time. And the only reason why that tape is released is because the judge said there's no more investigations going on, release the tape. Rahm didn't want that tape out. He covered up a murder. He's practically a murderer. He covered up a murder. Black and white, plain and simple. Rahm tried to fight that tape. That judge said, release it. What happens? Oh, it just happens to come out 2 days after Rahm Emanuel's reelection. Interesting. The timing is fucking crazy, isn't it? 2 days after his reelection, all hell breaks loose in Chicago. Can you imagine if that tape came out when it was supposed to? Rahm would have never got that extra term. I think we established that he is someone who covered up a murder. He's a devil. He's a demon. He might be the worst politician in the United States of America as being a demon. That's just who he is. But nonetheless, let the devil roam around. Can't beat the devil. That's God's doing. Can't do nothing to the devil. That's just who he is. He's an insecure, short, ugly motherfucker who don't give a fuck about black people or the communities. But nevertheless, Republicans hate that motherfucker. They can't stand him. Years. They hate him. What does Rahm do? Not too long ago, he reaches out to all the politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans. He calls them and says, hey, I need your vote to be an ambassador for Japan because I'm insecure and I need to do something. What do the Republicans do? Okay, some say yay, some just ignore it, meaning yay too, in so many words. Go ahead, Rahm. You could have your job. Wait, I thought you hated Rahm. I thought you hated his policies. I thought you couldn't stand this motherfucker. I've watched you Republicans bash Rahm Emanuel for 10 fucking years every single fucking chance you got. CNN, Fox, Rachel Maddow, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun-Times. I've seen them all talk shit about Rahm for over a decade in my life. You hate Rahm. You hate Obama. You hate that he was his chief of staff. You couldn't stand it. But now all of a sudden, you think that he could be an ambassador. He has your vote. I'm not mad at the Republicans, and I'm not mad at Rahm. I know the scam. That's Exhibit A for you Americans. That will show you that they both work together. You have nothing to say about that. Let's put a fact that I'm a bullshitter and I'm a good communicator, as some of you fuckers will say. Let's just put aside that I'm known to entrap people from a verbal point of view. And I'm known to do it from a verbal, mental, psychological point of view. Let's put that aside, which I meant, by the way. Let's just be honest. God looking at both of us now. Jesus Christ looking at both of us now. The Holy Spirit looking at both of us now. Man to man, from one human to another. One American to another. I understand that this is hard to swallow. I understand that this is depressing. I understand. Trust me, I was there. This is sad shit. This is disgusting shit. Just ask yourself, why did those Republicans go ahead and let Rahm go to the ambassador position in Japan? I thought they hated him. How come no one of them stuck out? Because they all work together. It's one big show. For those Republicans who said they have their vote, or they're just not going to say anything at all or intervene at all, that means he has their vote. He called them. He called them and said, I need your vote on this. I need you to tell me where you stand. Stand down during my confirmation hearing. They work together. You have to understand this for yourself. You have to educate yourself. Me, I'm 42. I smoke a lot of cigarettes. I don't really plan to be around long. At least I hope not. Maybe 55, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with politics. I'm done with all this stuff. It just still bothers me in the inside. Because you guys haven't figured this out. Again, let me emphasize, prosecutors and lawyers, they don't give a fuck. You're just ignorant. Your ignorance is no reason to break the law. I agree with them, but I still want to try to see if I can reach you. I still want to see if I could try to educate you with that exhibit. And if you say that's not true, and if you still want to be in denial, there is absolutely nothing no one could do to convince you if I didn't just convince you. And it gets worse. It gets horribly fucking worse, and it gets more disgusting than that. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Do a psychology report on her. I don't normally talk about federal politicians because I just don't bark up that door, but some say I have my freedom of speech and I'm allowed to do it. Whatever, it doesn't matter anyway. They're getting tired of her shit and they need a new puppet anyway for the job. But do a psychology. There were a group of people, and it made me tear up. I almost cried. I got happier than I have been in a very long time. It was on YouTube where a group of people were standing outside of her office and they were saying, "How come you didn't do anything?" She said, "I don't know, I tried." And then the whole group started saying, "You're not really defending us. You're just pretending." And if you ask any analyst who is a professional lie detector, who is a human professional lie detector, they will tell you when Nancy Pelosi said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am," that was a lie. The eyes says it all. The body language says it all. This huge group recorded it and stood outside her office and said, "You're not representing us. You're pretending. You're really not defending us." "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." And she laughed afterwards. Those were some smart people. They figured it out. And I think they even took the video off YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. It was on the news, but they took it off. I was so touched by that video. I was so moved by that video. I was just like, wow, I'm not alone. I was like, that's power. I was like, they figured it out. It's intelligent. Imagine standing outside Nancy Pelosi's office, screaming, "You're not really with us," and watching her. Her eyes, her soul. Fuck, they figured my scam out. Fuck, they figured this out. Oh no! It was one of the best videos ever. It doesn't get any better than that when Americans wake up instead of fighting each other. But you want to say that's not true? You want to say no, they were just ignorant people? Okay, that's fine. I got more exhibits for you. Because I don't come to court empty-handed. I don't talk shit without exhibits and evidence. Let's continue on one more with Pelosi. Because I don't need to do Bush. I don't need to do Trump. They're too easy with their crimes. I'm doing these Democrats right now because you guys are in hopes and beliefs that these Democrats are going to save you. They're going to save the world. And they're the worst ones. Good cop, bad cop. Who's the bad cop? Both of them. Who's really the bad cop? The good cop. Because he's trying to be your friend. The bad cop? I know. You're just doing what you do. The good cop? You're trying to trick me. So I don't like you more than I don't like him. But don't worry. I'm going to verbally do it to both of you motherfuckers. You'll see. Because while you think that tape is recording, don't worry, I know. You think it's going to go in your favor during trial. No, it's not. I'm the victim here, buddy, oh pal. I know that's recording. I've been doing this since I was in high school. Don't try to think. Don't try to grow a brain with me. But nevertheless, let's continue on with Pelosi. She gets a certain amount of money for salary. I don't know what it is. 300, 400 grand, 300 grand, whatever it is. Don't know, don't care. You know why? Because her net is worth quadruple times hundreds of thousands more than her salary. Why is that? Well, her husband just happens to keep getting lucky in the stock market. Every time he just gets lucky and lucky and lucky. They're millionaires. They're millionaires. Nancy Pelosi and her husband are millionaires. It's never, ever enough money for them. And have they given any of those millions to any of you people who voted Democrat? Have they given any of that money? No. It's a sick, insecure game. It's never enough money for them. It's never enough power for them. People like that have a disease in their heads. Well, let's stay on topic here. It's you. Do you believe when you vote Democrat, do you believe that's good, honest practice when Nancy Pelosi has one salary for a year, which is 300 grand approximately, but yet somehow, some way her net is like millions? Somehow, some way her husband is millions in the stock market? Have you Googled Nancy Pelosi's net? That doesn't concern you? Do you want to be stupid for the rest of your life, or do you want to educate yourself? Money this, money that. That's how the country and the world is ran with money. Me, I have pretty much everything I want. Me, I got my health, I got my family, I got my cigarettes, I got my studio. I'm a cool motherfucker. Don't need millions. Don't need it. Been there, done that. Don't need it. But you guys, money rules the world. Just because I have everything I need in life doesn't mean you You broke-ass Democrats, don't you people who voted for these broke-ass Democrats, don't you think you want some of that money? Nancy Pelosi sure has a lot of millions that she ain't even using. Her husband has millions. Don't you think you want some of that? Has she given you some of that? But yet you keep voting for her. Yet you keep talking this broke-ass Democrat shit. And you still don't believe me? Okay. Nancy Pelosi finally just came out and said that my husband is going to stop doing stocks because it's not appropriate. Why he does stocks, and I have a government job, and I know too much knowledge. Well, Nancy, well, husband, well, people who voted for these broke-ass Democrats, it doesn't matter now because you already got the millions of dollars to fill up your insecurities for the time being. You really want to make this right? How about you take all that money and you give it to the broke-ass people who voted for the broke-ass Democrats? It's a scam. You want to talk about border crisis and the psychological profile of Nancy Pelosi and these other Democrats. When you're Mexican and you're from Mexico and you come to America, there's a story with border control. There's a story. There's some sincerity that you know the struggles, what it's like to come from Mexico to America. You have history. You have experiences. You have fucked up experiences more than likely. Does Nancy Pelosi or any of the other Democrats have an experience with the border? Because Nancy Pelosi and all these Democrats, they sure do put on this show. Oh, well, immigrants this, immigrants that. What the fuck you calling an immigrant? I'm not an immigrant. I'm an American. But immigrant this, immigrant that. We should let immigrants in. Here's the intelligence. Here's Exhibit A. This is Exhibit A that I bring to the courtroom if you want to listen. This is Exhibit A that I bring to your brain if you choose to want to be educated. Before I give you this hardcore intelligence that's easy for any criminal or any person who knows about lies, before I provide you this, can you ask yourself out loud, do you want to listen? Do you want to educate yourself? Do you want to better yourself? Can you handle this? Just like that movie. You can't handle the truth. Can you handle this? Are you sitting down? These so-called Democrats who have a so-called belief of so-called immigrants, and I don't know who the fuck you're calling an immigrant. If anyone's an immigrant, you're a fucking immigrant. You stole this country from the Indians and the Pilgrims. Yeah, I fucking said it. Fuck you. I don't need a fucking job. I'll speak my mind. I don't kiss ass. Fuck you, ugly ass, insecure, demon, devil, motherfuckers. These so-called Democrats who boast about immigrants and Mexicans and this and that, and we should have an opportunity. They are just putting on that show. These so-called Republicans who are saying, no, we don't want them here, we want them to do this, we want them to do that, we have enough, blah, blah, blah. They are just putting on a show. But you know the real fact of the truth of the matter is that supports all my evidence? We could have been put up a wall with multiple doors to come in the right way many, many decades ago. The border wall, the wall, no wall, no wall, wall, no wall, wall. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about it. Let's do this. Wall, no wall. They're all getting paid. We've been talking about this so-called fucking wall since 1980. And I chose that year because that's the year I was born. When I was a kid, all I could remember is these so-called puppet politicians talking about a wall. You know, with all the money that we paid all these puppet politicians from 1980 and probably before, but from 1980, all the salary that they got from 1980 to the year 2022, we could have had 10,000 fucking walls. It's a show. It's a show. What are we doing today? Let's go ahead. We got to go to work. We got to go to Congress. Okay, what do you want to argue about? What do you want to pretend to argue about? Let's pretend to argue about the wall again. Sure, haven't we been doing that since the 80s? Yeah, we're not getting nothing accomplished, but let's pretend to do it. And intelligent people like me check out all the salaries on this fucking broke-ass Democrat side who's lying about they care about people of so-called color. And then this side, I check their public salaries on all those Republicans lying and thinking that they have a cause too, while they're putting on their WrestleMania show all their salaries from day one. We could have built that fucking wall. You don't see that? We already spent billions of dollars on them pretending to argue about this throughout the decades. You don't see this? Did I hurt your feelings? Did I say something wrong? Can you handle this? Did I hear somebody? Well, Eric, how do you feel about it? How do I feel about it? Oh. America is a country to allow everyone in here. You go to Africa, it's typically Africans. You go to China, it's typically Chinese. You go to India, it's typically India. You come to America, we have Mexicans, Asians, African Americans, Caucasians, Indians. We are a nation to welcome all. Why the fuck did you put a label on us? I don't know, but I don't go along with that label, honey. I'm an American, and that's fucking that. I know some of you don't see me that way, and that's fine. You don't give a fuck how you see me. Don't see me at all. We welcome everyone. But like my homie Comey said, James Comey said it 100% perfectly clear. If we start allowing everyone in, we don't know who they are, we don't know their criminal background, we know nothing about them. And that's clearly a fucking problem. So what we do is we put up this big ass humongous fucking wall, and we have multiple doors in this wall, and then we have federal agents by each door, and there's a process. We welcome you in. You need to be noted. We need to know your name. We need to know if you're going to get a driver's license. We need to know who you are. We need to know us. We need to know who we need to know. No one's just coming on in like it ain't shit. You could come, but you got to come in through the process through the right way so we could all be safe and we could all be happy. Because quite frankly, I don't even know how the fuck America got America and Africa got Africa and Russia got Africa. This is planet Earth. This is no one's fucking land. This is God's land who he gave it to all of us so we could just share it for the time being. But you greedy, insecure motherfuckers ended up making it this country, this continent, this continent. Whatever. It is what it is, though. I know you don't believe in that God stuff, so I'm not even going to preach that. This isn't our land. We're here for the time being. Enjoy it. Everybody. But nonetheless, let's stay back on topic with the Democrats and Republicans taking advantage of this. Since 1980, the Democrats and Republicans have been talking about border walls. They have gotten paid billions of dollars from that time I'm putting on this show. They don't give a fuck. Nancy Pelosi doesn't have this cause. She's not from Mexico. She doesn't have a story where she's dying to help out immigrants and Mexican people. Oh, she's dying to help everyone out and people of so-called color. She doesn't give a fuck. She's a puppet. She cares about her bank account. She cares about her husband's stock. She cares about her insecurities. She's not in charge. They control her. Just a string on a fucking puppet. Insecure, demon-ass shit. Nerdy-ass motherfucker in high school. No friends having besides the ones that she works with or the ones that she can do something for. That goes for all of them. Politicians is an evil, demon, weird shit. It's some devil demon shit. Weird shit. Let's move on. Because I'm about to make you motherfuckers cry. I'm about to make you in tears from the words and the story that I'm about to tell you now. Malcolm X. Malcolm X, Malcolm X, Malcolm X. My hero. The one that I would like to meet when my time is up and I go to the front doors of heaven and I get judged. I would like to see Malcolm X. I would like to see Eazy-E. I would like to see a couple people, but Malcolm X. Malcolm X is going to welcome me with open arms, and he's going to say, thank you for trying to carry on my legacy from the house Negroes and the field Negroes. That is the best video on YouTube right now on planet Earth. That makes motherfuckers cry. That makes some people open up their eyes and be like, wow, I could see why they assassinated Malcolm X. Malcolm X hit nerves with his choice of words and his psychology. Forget the Muslims, forget his religion beliefs, forget all this other stuff. I'm touching and I love Malcolm X for one thing and one thing only. The difference between a field Negro and a house Negro. Obama. Let's do the history on him. Let's make it good, because this is the last time that I'm speaking on this topic. Let's make it honest. Let's do it as God is looking down here on me now. I just went to a graduation at DePaul University. I admired what the guy said at the end. Fight for injustice for all. Expose injustices for all. Expose corruption. Do what you were meant to do down here on earth. Do what you feel. Jesus, my grandmother, who's in heaven right now watching me, I have never been more sure about anything in my whole entire life than what Malcolm X has said. The difference between the field Negro and the house Negro. They're tricking you. They find one black guy who's not even 100% black. They find one Hispanic, and they get him off the field. They get him off the slave ship. They get him off the cotton field. Hey, we're going to dress you up in a suit and tie. We're going to feed you good. We're going to make you a celebrity. We're going to give you the same food that we eat. And we want you to go on TV. And we want you to control the rest of them. Behind closed doors. Now everything is equal in America. Hey, black people. Hey, Hispanics, everything is equal. We have Obama. Look at all these Democrat commercials. You find it a big coincidence that there's a black guy who's not even black in the background? You find it a big coincidence that there's a Mexican woman talking, and then you try to Google her, and it's really not truly a Mexican woman who owned a business that the government so-called helped. It was just an actress that they paid. That doesn't bother you? You haven't figured that out? You haven't heard Malcolm X? You know they killed him for a reason, right? He hit nerves. You know why certain politicians hate me? Because I hit nerves. They're like, oh fucking shit, he's right. Oh fucking shit, he's disgusting for exposing this. You're disgusting. You're the demon. Go ahead and Google. Google Obama and Bush images. They're best of fucking friends. He tricked you. He tricked me, and I'm hard to trick. He tricked you, son. You get over that shit. Google Bush and Obama images. George Bush and Obama images. They're friends. They're friends. You got tricked. It was a scam. And we all fell for it. Malcolm X was right. I met someone, smart guy. He met a lot of politicians. I'm going Obama's favor for one thing. This guy who I met, he met all kinds of politicians. He worked for them, got visits from certain people. He just worked, he met a lot of politicians. He gives a psychological profile on every politician that was out in Chicago. All of them. He knew them all, met them all. Great source for intel. He brings up Obama. He says, the thing what happened with Obama is he went into office trying to do good for minorities. He went to become president trying to do good for minorities. He had every intention on helping out poor black people and poor Mexican people. But when he got into office, he got the luxuries of the White House. He just realized, nah, I like this life better. And he left us. Okay, I'll buy that. Obama meant well. I'll buy it. But when he got in, he fucked us. He left us. You don't believe me? This is hard to handle? This is hard to swallow? This hurts your feelings? Okay, here, Exhibit A. Don't believe me. I want you to educate you. I want you to be an educational person. Ask questions. Obama endorsed Rahm Emanuel. Not once, but twice. Obama made commercials saying Rahm Emanuel is a good leader for this country, and he read some bullshit from a prompt that someone wrote for him. So when you say you hate Rahm Emanuel but you love Obama, no, Rahm Emanuel came from Obama not once but twice. You know how many campaign commercials that Obama did for him? You know how many times Obama came to Chicago and went on the podium and said, vote for Rahm. He has good leadership. There's work that still needs to be done, but we're headed in the right direction. When you say you hate Rahm, what you're saying is you hate Obama because Obama gave us Rahm. Am I lying? Am I lying? Is that not true? 4,000 black people died in Chicago during Rahm's watch. Rahm didn't give anything about Inglewood or Little Village. Rahm just cared about businesses and money. That was his agenda. He didn't care about the police or anything. That was Obama. Obama didn't move back to Chicago. He left. He's in an $11 million mansion in another state. He didn't even come back here. Sorry. He lied. He tricked us. Us. He tricked us. But I'm off that train. I'm off that. That's over with. There's nothing you can do about it. It's life. I end this on an extreme positive note. I'm 42 and I used to struggle with this for many years. There's nothing that we can do about it. There's more dumb people than there are smart people. You can't change people's minds for many reasons. Their chemical balance just isn't balanced. I think a lot of you people think I'm trying to be funny when I say this, and I guess it's funny, but there are some people where their dads fucked their own cousins and sisters, so when these stupid people came out, their chemical balance isn't balanced. It's just like this. You can't teach them. There are some that you can teach. There are some that I got through. It's a sad, it's some demon shit. It's a good scam from one ex-con to another, from one ex-scammer to another. It's a great fucking scam. If I was the man, I don't want these American people focusing on me. I want these American people distracted. These American people only have a certain amount of energy. Let's use that energy and let them fight each other instead of coming to me. It's a great fucking scam. They say North Korea has like 2 stations, maybe 3 TV stations, and they all praise Kim Jong-un. It's propaganda. And everyone in America and across the country, they're like, that's pretty sick. That's pretty disgusting. Those 3 channels that North Korea have all praise Kim Jong-un. That's all the people know. So when they see Kim Jong-un, they think he's the god. They think he's Jesus, and they run towards him like God, and they bow down, because the TV is a great tool to manipulate people. The TV is the best tool to manipulate people. That's pretty fucked up, you say, right? Well, don't put down North Korea and those people too much, because you're not too far from it. We're not too far from it. Actually, I take that back. Not we. You're not too far from it. We got 3 stations too. We got Fox, we got CNN, and we got Rachel Maddow. It's the same thing. It's just a little different game. The 3 stations in North Korea are to trick the people into thinking Kim Jong-un is God. The 3 television stations that we have here in the United States of America are to trick you people into dividing the country. God and Jesus Christ could come down here and say, hey, Rachel, Obama, he didn't do shit for Chicago, he didn't do shit for black people, and he didn't even move. I am God and Jesus Christ, Rachel. You are wrong. Obama did shit. Get over it. He was a puppet. He was what Malcolm X was talking about. He was the biggest house Negro in the history of the United States of America, Rachel. And Rachel will tell God and Jesus, no, you're wrong. But God just came down from the sky. God and Jesus could come down to Carlson Tucker and say, hey, Tucker, Trump, he fired James Comey, and he should have never done that. He's working with Russia, and he did something at some point with Russia. And Carlson or Tucker, or whatever the fuck his name is, you would look at God and Jesus and say, God, you're wrong. Trump is the God. Trump cares. Tucker, Trump said he was for law enforcement. This is actually a good one, actually, because I kind of believed him until later on. Nothing happened. Trump said during his first time, oh, law enforcement's getting treated like crap. We need to take care of them. Yeah, well, now Trump was a smart con man for saying that, because everyone in law enforcement, including some of my family and friends, were like, we're voting for Trump. We're voting for Trump. He's for law enforcement. He just said that. He didn't do shit for law enforcement. He got you, though. And I'm just sitting back watching my family like, wow, that's a good con man. I may not con no more. I haven't done that for a very long time because it's just not in me anymore because of karma. But I still recognize the scams that go on. I'm like, yeah, that was good shit. Trump did good with that one. He tricked you. And then all these politicians keep saying, well, they wouldn't let Obama do anything. They wouldn't let Trump do anything. And blah, 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 blah. It's on you, honey. You can keep saying that shit. They wouldn't let Obama and Trump do anything. That's just part of the scam. Sorry. I said I was going to end this on a positive note. It's not good to be a scammer. It's not good to be a liar. It's just not. So I don't blame you because you're not a liar. You're not a scammer. You're not a bad person. You have to try to educate yourself. You have to try to get some street knowledge. This whole Democrat and Republicans and them fighting each other, they work together. I promise you that. I will trade my soul if I'm wrong on this one. I'm not wrong. I know lies when I see one. I know a scam when I see one. And you people, it's your fault. It's not their fault anymore. It's not their fault. Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, Obama, they're all living large. They don't give a fuck about either one of us. It's your fault. Because after you watch this video, and if I haven't convinced you with all these exhibits that I just provided you, this is you. This is the government that you deserve. You deserve this government. Whoever came up with that saying, you get the government that you deserve. You deserve this government. Because you keep going along with this. I did my best. God bless.